You are Locked On Cowboys, your daily Dallas Cowboys podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked on Cowboys. Locked on Cowboys.
Welcome back to the Locked On Cowboys podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Marcus Mosher. You can follow me on Twitter at Marcus_Mosher. And joining me today, as always, is my co-host, Landon McCool. You can check him out on Twitter at McCoolBCB. You can also listen to him on the Best Coast Boys podcast. Landon, what's going on, sir?
Not much. We're creeping closer to a Monday night tilt versus the Philadelphia Eagles. It's always great to be in Eagles week. I'm certainly excited to be here and talking Cowboys football.
Yeah, so we've got a crossover podcast coming, I believe, Friday. Landon, you and I will do a Monday show where we do a little bit of a preview. We'll talk about some of the action that happened on Sunday. But I actually got a little special segment for you in segment 3 today that I haven't told you about. So we're gonna get to that.
This is true.
Exciting. But let's get to some injury news. Let's start with Amari Cooper. So Amari Cooper has it sounds like bruised ribs. Sounds like it's an injury he suffered in week 1 against Tampa Bay. He played through it in week 2. It sounds like he's going to be limited this week. He did practice on Thursday. Do you think he plays in this game?
Yeah, I do. Simply because, Thursday this week is Wednesday in the practice schedule. And if you're practicing even limited on addition on Wednesday, you're probably pretty good to make it to the week, especially as long as there's no setbacks. And with a rib injury, I don't know if they're going to be padded practice. They'll be careful with him. I don't know that there'll be kind of any setbacks there. So I do expect that he will tough it out and play against the Philadelphia Eagles.
How painful of an injury do you think this is for a receiver, right? Especially, Amari, you're going to be taking shots across the body like he did last week in the end zone. Is it going to be something that hampers his play at all?
I mean, it may be something that he's just kind of cognizant of and just, not enjoying taking shots, which could obviously, hurt with his ability to kind of bring balls in. And I don't know if that's, what kind of caused issues when he was trying to catch that ball in the end zone last week when it was a pretty decent throw right at him. So I'm not terribly worried about it because I have a feeling that, most of the Philadelphia Eagles defensive backs won't be touching Amari Cooper.
As you take a big sip from your drink. Yeah, I was going to talk about that. I don't know if you remember, but Amari's pretty good against the Eagles. Yeah. Landon, in 3 career home games against Philadelphia, he's averaging 148 yards per game and a touchdown.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of referring to. I don't know how much touching of Amari Cooper, the defensive backs of the Eagles, are going to do. He's obviously had a ton of success against the Eagles. I mean, frankly, the Eagles have been kind of notorious for having a weak back end for a little while now. So it makes sense that he would feast upon them. I do feel like I remember Amari. Was it the Eagles that Amari was telling that story about how guys were saying that if they trash talk him, that they get him out of his game, and then he ripped him apart. I have a feeling that he has some revenge on his mind. From kind of just the talk of the Eagles defensive backs from last season. So
I do find it pretty funny that the Eagles went out and tried to get Darius Slay. Was it a couple years ago because they thought he would slow down Amari? And even last year in week 16, they had Slay follow him all over the field, and he had 4 receptions for 124 yards with Andy Dalton as his quarterback.
Yeah.
Amari should be fine. Right,
Amari will be fine. Yeah. I
now
think so.
let's assume the worst here. Let's say he plays and gets banged up, and it's just clear that he can't go. Are you worried about the offense then? Because now you're down 2 of your top 3 playmakers on offense. It's CeeDee Lamb, Cedric Wilson, maybe some Noah Brown. Would you be a little worried then?
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's not going to be nearly as easy with down your 2 of your top 3 wide receivers, but I think that there's still enough firepower on this offense to do what they need to do to score the points they need to win this game. It's obviously not ideal. You built this team to have a dominant receiving core, so when you're missing 2/3 of it, it's an adjustment. But I think this team has kind of proven that they can win football games on offense, especially multiple different ways. So they will find a way to adjust. And again, like I think what we've seen from Cedric Wilson is that he's more than capable as a third wide receiver. So I just imagine that they would use him in the two receiver packages, and then probably reduce the amount of 3 wide receiver sets they would use. Just kind of move more towards 2 tight ends and two running backs, because you still have playmakers there that can shake things loose and get down the field if he needs to.
Yeah, I mean, if they had to go 3 receiver sets, I think they feel comfortable with Noah Brown out there. I just think the percentage would go way down. You'd see more of the 2 tight end sets. You probably see more of 2 running backs on the field, whether that's Pollard playing in the slot or a pony look in the backfield. They have possible solutions, but of course you don't want to have to get down to those, right? It would be ideal just to keep Amari healthy, keep your traditional 3 receiver set percentages of 65, 70%, maybe even a little bit more when Michael Gallup's healthy. That's the way they're going to go. I just hope they can stay healthy and execute that way. Any final thoughts on Amari before we move on?
No, I mean, I think I expect him to be not too hindered by this. I think it's certainly possible that it could have an effect, but I actually don't imagine that it will.
If he's practicing on Thursday,
that's
my guess is it's not too serious, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break so I can tell you guys about rockauto.com. It's a family business serving auto parts to customers online for over 20 years. They have everything from engine control modules and brake parts, motor oil, and even new carpet. Whether it's for your classic or your daily driver, get everything you need in a few easy clicks delivered directly to your door. The rockauto.com catalog is unique and remarkably easy to navigate. Quickly see all the parts available for your vehicle and choose the brand, specifications, and prices that you prefer. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, locked on in the How Did You Hear About Us box so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com today. All right, Landon, let's get to some other injury news. First and foremost, Keanu Neal. Mike McCarthy revealed on Wednesday that he's been put on the COVID list. Now, it's not because he tested positive. It's because he is a close contact and is not fully vaccinated. It sounds like he's still waiting to get the next shot, which is fine for him. Right. Now, the deal is you have to be 5 days removed from the facility and then have a negative test at the end of that. That puts him to Sunday. So it's realistic that he could play in this game. But if he doesn't, how big of a loss is that for the Cowboys?
Well, I mean, it's a good thing that we keep talking about how much depth they have at the linebacker position, right? I mean, if obviously Neal, it sounds like could make it back for this game. It especially helps that it's the home game and he doesn't have to worry about making the charter flight and all that stuff. Yep. So
it's a night game, right? So you have a little bit more time. Whether it's a 1:00 game, right?
Yeah, so it's a Monday night game, so it's
That's a Monday night game.
So it's not. It's a lot more time to get through all that and do everything.
Because if he's cleared on Sunday morning, he's going to have enough time to learn the game plan. He might even get a walkthrough practicing if they're doing one on Sunday. Like he'll be fine.
Yeah, and they can send a lot of stuff to his iPad. It's not like he can't do anything.
It's not like he's sick either. Like he has no symptoms or anything like that, right?
So I feel pretty decently confident that he'll play. I think that, as long as everything kind of goes as we expect, but, with COVID, who knows? I think that he's played more snaps than I think any linebacker on the team so far, as far as percentage of snaps, if I'm not mistaken. So, there will be, if he's not be able to play, there will be kind of a shifting of snap accounts.
77 in week 1, 72 in week 2.
Yeah. I mean, that's high, right? So, I think if you have to readjust, obviously, like we've said, we have a lot of linebacker depth. Jalen may need to play a little bit more. Leighton need to play a bit more. You might see Jabril Cox get more snaps at defense. So they have ways to kind of mitigate that. And really, I mean, the way Javon Kearse has been playing, maybe you do some more 3 safety looks with him down as the nickel backer. They definitely have ways to kind of get around this. Neal is a good player. I think, he's kind of been working his way into the season so far. He's had some missed tackles, but he's been able to kind of be at the play when the play needs to be made. He just needs to finish a little bit better. I hope that he can he'll get to play this weekend and kind of continue to kind of get better. But if he doesn't, the Cowboys have a lot of answers, frankly, to kind of solve this position if they need it.
I hope he plays because he is the one linebacker that I think has the speed and athleticism to help spy Jalen Hurts, like if they need to. I get a little bit worried if that job is left up to Jalen Smith. Not so much worried if it's Van Der Esch, but that's where I think he's going to be key. Now, if Keanu Neal doesn't play, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Micah Parsons because Dorrance Armstrong has been ruled out for this game due to a high ankle sprain. I did see a report from David Moore from the Dallas Morning News, who was typically pretty plugged in with this stuff. Typically, a high ankle sprain is 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer. They say the Cowboys have a lot of reasons to be optimistic that it's not going to be that long. So it sounds like a very mild case of a high ankle sprain. Armstrong, I thought, played really well last week. It's frustrating because it does feel like he's starting to come on.
Yeah.
But they have somebody else that's ready to take his snaps in Chauncey Golston. So just can you talk about that injury and how big of a loss it is for Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you mentioned that it's probably kind of closer to that 2 to 4 time frame than the 4 to 6 time frame. That's the thing about high ankle sprain, or that's the thing about ankle sprains, right? You got the low ankle sprain, and then you have high ankle sprain, which feels like it has 3 different varieties, right? You can have like several different types of high ankle sprains, and it sounds like his is kind of the mildest one. But I agree, again, there's been skepticism on our part because you and I have been witness to Dorrance Armstrong training camps where it looked like he was an ascending player and then just was not able to translate it to the regular season. I feel like through 2 games, he has translated it to the season. We saw him get as close as you can to stripping a football from Tom Brady without doing it, I would say. And then I thought he played really well against the Chargers and increased snaps as well. So, not having him against Philly is going to be tough. But again, you do have people there. You've got Basham who can play more snaps there if you need. Golston will get his debut. Randy Gregory's coming back. You know what you've got in Parsons to a large degree. So I think that there are opportunities to kind of get some of these people in the mix. I mean, listen, after watching last week, Bradley Anae and Azir Kamara both had very good games, in the limited snaps they have. So they have bodies to throw at this that they can feel, pretty confident about. And again, we may need to talk about it when we get a little bit closer to kind of game planning for the Eagles. But depending on what they may want to do, it may want to be kind of more of a mush rush situation. They may want to be more concerned about containing Hurts inside the pocket than actually trying to burst, get around the edge, and sack. I think that's where he's had some success in kind of breaking pocket, making plays. So much like the Russell Wilson game plan, except Hurts is not quite Russell Wilson by any stretch. So, but similar situation. So it may. Obviously it's not great to lose some of your better players and your better backups, but this may be a week where his role would be kind of adjusted anyway. So I think the Cowboys are in a good shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, actually, there's a chance that this is a better week for Chauncey Golston anyways, right? Because that's kind of Golston's game is power, right? Is to hold up on the edge. Now, it's a pretty big assignment for Golston in week 1 without any preseason is to go up against Lane Johnson and Maitai, right? It's just a huge left tackle, but it should be interesting to watch. Another guy that's not going to play in this game is Carlos Watkins, who's dealing with a knee injury. And this one I do think is going to hurt them a little bit. We talked about Watkins yesterday, how we think he's played better than Brent Urban. He's been kind of the best guy to pair with Osa Odighizuwa. I have no idea how long Watkins is going to be out for. It doesn't seem like it's a season-ending injury, but it does seem like he's going to be out for a few weeks. What do they do inside without him this week?
Well, this week it's just going to be mix and match with what they got. I would not at all be surprised if Justin Hamilton. In fact, I would be shocked if Justin Hamilton isn't called up from the practice squad this week. Yep. I thought Hamilton showed you all throughout training camp and the preseason that this guy deserves a spot on the team. So to see him end up in the on the practice squad was a little bit surprising. So this is going to be another opportunity for him kind of show what he can do, which I felt like has been greatly improved from what we've seen in those previous 2 years. So Hamilton will be a guy they'll mix in there. Obviously, you'll probably see an uptick in Brent Urban snaps there. Until listen. we talked about it, and everyone else has been now talking about it too. Osa Odigizua is a guy to watch, and
I feel like
he's
just
the
a
guy.
proud papa here. I just want to say that.
I'm very, very proud. And I think that we've been talking about him for a while. I think now is the time they're going to lean on him to be a playmaker in the middle. Long term, you're hoping that you're going to get Gallimore back pretty soon. We haven't heard anything about Tristan Hill, but he's got to be getting close as well. I see that face. So maybe not. We'll see. But
I think probably getting ready for his next step with the Lions. I'm just
we've got reinforcements coming. So I think the Cowboys need to get through this game for sure. The good news is that Brandon Brooks is not part of this game, so their interior is weakened as well. So I think the Cowboys, look, they've been really good about mixing and matching their fronts depending on who they face week to week. So I have a feeling that they'll be able to find a good combination that allows them to accomplish what they need to accomplish in order to kind of make Hurts uncomfortable up front.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do. I don't know if this is a Quentin Bohanna game, if they want to just try to overwhelm like Landon Dickerson at guard. I don't know. That's the plan. But we shall see. Maybe this is the game that Brent Urban plays really well, or maybe they do bring up Justin Hamilton, as you mentioned. Just something to keep an eye on. Let's take one more quick break so I can tell you guys about Bet Online. We are back and better than ever, with all eyes now turned to the gridiron as teams are back to start another football season. As always, Bet Online is your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With a new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline.ag continues to be the number one source for everything football. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 100% welcome bonus. That is double your initial deposit just for signing up. Don't forget to use promo code NFL100 from football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. Bet Online, the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. All right, Landon, just a couple general Monday night things, because we haven't had a fun Monday night football game in a while.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Peyton and Eli broadcast last week?
I did, yes.
What did you think? Did you like it better than the usual broadcast?
It's interesting, right? Like it really, really reminds me of the kind of coach cast they do for the NCAA championship game, right?
Exactly,
because it's like you don't have the fanfare of the crowd, or if you do, it's kind of like background noise through their TVs, right? And it's just them, no play-by-play really. It's more just guys, like it's almost like you're watching football with your friends with the TV on mute. Right.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's just because it's just, you don't get the immersive kind of situation of watching it with the crowd noise, with an announcer. That puts you more into the stadium. This is very analytical. I actually really, really liked it. I could see, I would be surprised if it's for everybody. In fact, I can't imagine that it's going to last very long, because I can't imagine that the average football fan likes it. But man,
did you see it was up 132% from last week, and it crushed the initial the usual broadcast.
Did it really?
Oh,
that's so great.
About like 70%.
That's awesome, because I think it's it's so different, and it's for football nerds like us, man. It's the best. I mean, not just beyond the Mannings, right? They just the angles that they show during the broadcast and all the different stuff. I just think it's fascinating. And I also get the added bonus of just being able to constantly dunk on Eli and how awkward he looks all the time, which is just awesome. So I love it.
Okay, here's my question. Would that show be better if it was just Peyton? Like just 3 hours of Peyton watching the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Eli, what does Eli offer you in that at all? Except for
I don't know.
He gives
Maybe
you
just
Manning
someone
face every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a while you get Peyton dunking on him, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, it was it's funny. They have guests and stuff, right? And they had Brett Favre on. I was like, what is Brett Favre going to tell you about this? Like, Brett Favre
he wasn't even watching the game.
he even during the broadcast, like Brett Favre was like, yeah, they used to have a guy in the Jets that translated all the plays for West Coast lingo so I could run them. I mean, it just shows you, like, Brett Favre is like Deion Sanders. Like, why are we talking X's and O's with those guys?
Yeah.
Like they're just talented folks that you put on the field. They're not like, football gurus in that sense. So
I will say, I think when they had Pat McAfee on there, that was good. Just give me Peyton and Pat McAfee. That was a lot of fun.
I'll do that for sure because Pat's crazy and I love him. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, a couple other Monday night questions. What's your traditional Monday routine for a big game like this? Because it's always a little different. You're waiting all day long. What's the food situation look like at your house for a big Monday night game?
This doesn't. So for Monday nights, like I don't have a routine. My routine is okay. I have to make sure I get all. And remember, I'm a West Coaster, right? So Monday nights start for me at 5 p.m. So while I'm still at work. So really it's a race all day Monday to get your day's work done so that by that last hour of work, you can not feel so guilty about watching the game. So there's not a ton of food prep. It's not Sunday night, it's not Sunday for me. It's more like when you're a West Coaster, it happens during your work day. So it's like you have to kind of get through work and then suddenly kind of very quickly change your mindset to watching some football. And if the Cowboys, it's when the Cowboys are playing on a Monday night, it's just stress, honestly, because it's like the stress to get everything done so that you can focus on the game and it could be a lot. But I still love it. I still love Monday Night Football. And even when the announcing got things are kind of, there's just still something about Monday Night Football that I'll always kind of hold dear.
I want to come back to that part in just a second, but for an East Coast fan, like if your team is not playing on Monday Night Football, it's all about trying to conserve energy all day long.
Yeah,
because that game is going to get over at like midnight on the East Coast.
Yeah,
and you just had a long weekend of watching football all day on Sunday, so it's all about trying to make sure you line up the coffee breaks to match up for the game. But if it's your team, it's really exciting, right? And I'm typically so wired after the game that I can't sleep for like 3 or 4 hours. But it's a lot of fun. Last Monday night question for you. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite Monday Night Football broadcasting team? Because everybody has their favorites that they really enjoy. Do you have one?
I grew up with the the Summerall and not Summerall. I'm getting my broadcast teams mixed up. I would say the group that kind of made it famous through the 90s is really what my favorite group. I just feel like since they've the last 10 years, 5 years, it starts to roll. They've kind of been rotating in and out groups, and it's just they've never really found a great combination. So that's another reason that I really like the Peyton and Eli thing is that it's not working. Just trying to find all these different combinations. Let's try something different. And I think this is really different and I like it a lot. Yeah.
For me, I was trying to think how old I was, like 11 or 12 when it was Al Michaels and John Madden. I'm trying to think 2003 when Quincy Carter had that great play to Antonio Bryant. That was Al Michaels and John Madden. I don't know if it's ever going to get better than that. Those guys were fantastic.
I still consider, that's because crazy because after they moved all that to Sunday night, my brain still thinks of that as the Sunday.
Well, they were
night.
there for a while on Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
or Michaels was.
They were way longer as Monday night group than Sunday, but it's just because they changed. It's my brain. But you're right. Like that's the group I was trying to reach for, and I just couldn't remember for sure if that was. I associate them with Sunday night, but yeah, that's definitely the best group. I've never personally loved, and this is going to be, I can't believe we're about to end the podcast with this. I've never been a huge John Madden fan. And I think not, it's only because I feel like I want more advanced football talk, and Madden is so great for just the layman, explaining the basics. And that's, I love that. And I love that for what he does for the NFL community. But for my personal needs, I would rather have Peyton Manning and Eli talking about the protections and about the passing concepts while the game's going on, as opposed to now what they're trying to do here is make sure they score a touchdown. And so that's kind of my 2 cents on that crew.
I was going to do this little game with you. I just really quickly before we go, yes or no on these color commentators from Monday Night Football. Are you ready?
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so obviously John Madden is a no for you, right?
No, he's a yes in the grand scheme of things, but I don't
Okay.
I would not choose him personally. But I do think he's incredible, of course.
All right. Tony Kornheiser.
No.
You remember when he was on there for a little bit?
Yes.
Because that big Cowboy Bill game, he was the color commentator for that one.
So bad.
Dennis Miller.
No. Absolutely not.
Dan Fouts.
He's okay. He's
okay.
I mean, he's pretty good.
Lynn Swan. That was like in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of vaguely remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, he was
O.J.
pretty
Simpson?
good. No comment.
And that's the way we're going to end the show, Landon.
That's probably the best way to end the show. Yeah. I hope they find that real killer. Yeah.
You guys can download the podcast wherever you want to download podcasts, I guess. This is probably our last one. We really appreciate you guys supporting us through the years. Locked On Cowboys at McCool BCB. You can follow Landon. I'm at Marcus _Mosher. We'll see you next time.